Welcome in, everyone. Another week of sports means another sports den. I'm Blythe Whaley alongside J.W. Cox. We're glad to have you back in studio.
Glad to be back after a short hiatus week, and glad that we've got some fun highlights and some fun games to look back on this week.
I know, right? Always when we're having so much action here, we're just excited that this keeps rolling in this
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah, no doubt that the kids get going out and play is the best thing that we can have and best thing we can hope for. So we got all kinds of coverage coming up for us that we'll talk about later in the show. This past week, though, the spotlight fell a little bit on soccer.
The Cougars taking on the Panthers at Spring Lake Park. The game is 0-0. Until this incident in the box. Will Mears with the takedown, sending Saltram to the PK. He flies this one past Verke, putting Spring Lake Park up 1-0 right before halftime. Centennial comes out of halftime with some vengeance. This long throw-in, knocking off Spring Lake Park. A header by the Cougars, a header by Spring Lake Park, but finding the back of the net is Mears. That one went right to his foot. Nice volley into the net. The Cougars continue with this action, and Mears streaking up the flank. He sends this one across, finding Richie Williams on the far side, netting this one easily. We see him and his teammates celebrating there. Centennial wins this one 1-0. We end that doubleheader first part and head over to the ladies. The ladies also taking on Spring Lake Park. And this one begins with Harper in a familiar spot, taking a free kick. Harper floats this one in. You see that one again. Just loops it right past the goalkeeper. Harper getting her team on the board yet again. 1-0 Centennial. We continue. This is Nelson over to Harper. Denied the first time, but Harper cannot be denied twice. She lets this one fly, and it is in the back of the net. Corner kick. Harper, all is through the legs. Brooklyn Boardson gets to finish this one off the corner. We have Grace playing up streaking with the lefty. She nets this one, ending the scoring 4-0. Centennial, yet another victory. We talked to some of them after.
Probably every other practice. We're kind of like a creative team, I guess. We have a lot of skill on the field everywhere, so getting people different chances and different people to score really because we get man marked a lot too. So I don't know, we kind of practice them a lot, and I practice my free kicks a lot after practice and stuff, but we're glad to have finished two set plays today.
Yeah, it was really cool. We've been practicing them a lot. It was cool to get to finish one. Yeah, it's really fun. Fun to play with the seniors for one last year.
But now we get to look at the schedules, seeing Blaine coming off of the win against Armstrong 7-0, but now we'll take on Coon Rapids here on the 15th. Centennial, we saw them get that 4-0 win versus Spring Lake Park, and we'll head to Osseo on the 15th as well. And Spring Lake Park, we saw them get those couple losses here early in the season, still looking for the first win, but they'll take on Maple Grove on the 15th as well. Those standings, you see the Cougars leading the way, top of the conference, and like we've seen in years past as well, but that 4-0, and Blaine sitting 3-0-1, and Spring Lake Park again looking to seek for some more wins there, but 1-3.
On the boys' side, you take a look, the Blaine Bengals out of the gates with a couple of wins last week. They'll take on Coon Rapids coming up next to try and keep that rolling. Centennial splits their games at 1-0 nail-biter against Park Center. They'll travel to Osseo to start their week on Tuesday. Spring Lake Park and the Maple Grove Crimson, as mentioned, those doubleheaders too. That'll be at Maple Grove on the boys' side. So you take a look at how things have gotten started in the standings in the Northwest Suburban Conference. On the boys' side, Blaine 4-0. It'll be conference all the way to the finish line here in this fall. Champlin Park right there with them, but Centennial sitting at 2-2, striking distance, and Spring Lake Park trying to find their way to a first victory. And Blythe, as you saw it live and we saw in that highlight, that Centennial Cougars girls team Kaya Harper mentioned it, just the creativity. You can
Yeah.
tell they're having some fun, and not only that, they've got the skill to finish off some of those plays. We're going to have plenty of highlights from them throughout the year.
Yeah, always the Cougars, the team to look at, finding the back of the net numerous times. It's not just one goal that we get to see. We get to see so many. So for sure, the Cougars will give us our goal, you know, those goal feelings throughout the season.
Yeah, and you've seen it a lot, I mean, playing soccer, but you don't always see it at the high school level, the types of plays that they're executing and pulling off. Just in that one highlight for their 4 goals, they scored 22 goals in the game prior to that. I mean, there's something special cooking for the Cougars, who have already done a lot of special things in recent years, going to the bank last year. But this year, they've got a pretty good mix.
Yeah, something I was telling you before this is just so exciting to see that close game between Spring Lake Park and Centennial on the boys' side. Last year, I mean, there was a big margin between those two teams, and so this year, having that 2-1 win, and, you know, it felt like a close game the entire way.
Yeah, we'll have to keep track of the Panthers, too, as they try and pull their way back into the standings. We'll take a break, and on the other side, we'll take a look at some tennis, going from the pitch to the hard court. Plenty of action to keep you tuned in on Sports Den this week, so stick around.
Welcome back, you guys. We are excited to throw this one from soccer, finding another sport that is a great social distancing one, tennis. JW has a lot more.
Yeah, we had Spring Lake Park and Blaine showing off that social distancing on the tennis side, so we'll get to those highlights. Super fun to have them still in action. Bengals and Panthers meeting on that hard court. We'll go to first doubles. Olivia Busick and Alexa Nielsen for the Panthers, Grace Halseth and Allison Terry for the Bengals. Bengals off to a slow start. Busick got the finish, up 3-2 in that first set were the Panthers, but a run of 3 straight from the Bengals gets them the victory in the first set. Remember that power from Terry. It'll come up there later, even though she missed that one. Just note that. In the second set, aces. Halseth all smiles after her perfect serve as the Bengals got out to a 5-1 lead in the second set. A couple of juniors trying to take care of business, and they would win it 6-1 to take the match. Match goes 6-3, 6-1, and our own Nick Walsh caught up with the pair of Halseth and Terry. What about that slow start and putting that one behind you?
At first, I think it was because we were on TV, a little nervous. But otherwise, then we're like, okay, we just got to get out of our heads, and we know how to play. So we just pretty much have to talk through it and work together, and otherwise, we do pretty good.
We just know how to work together and pick each other up. So once we got back to things, we knew we were gonna be fine, and even if we lost a point here and there, it was gonna be okay.
Yeah, we've been playing together for a while with multiple sports, and we've known each other since kindergarten. So we have a pretty good connection.
Well, I've been playing singles for a while, and I just excel at the net, and I love to hit the ball, and I like to hit it hard. And so Grace has to yell at me sometimes to hit softer, but yeah, that's where I excel, and that's where I like to play.
I think that just them serving got us we had to do one good return, and then Allison, if we kept it deep, then they'd pop it up right to Allison at the net, and then she'd just smash it down, which is what we've been trying to work on. Just keep letting them feed her at the net, because that's where she's really strong at.
Yeah, we like to say just Grace return it, and then they'll hit back to me, and we'll smash it, and that's point, and then that gets game, and that's just how we like to work together.
All right, definitely a team effort, and it showed out there that you were very comfortable, as it sounds like you are in a lot of sports, playing together, playing the angles, and of course when we're interviewing here in these weird COVID times, don't forget to look at the camera with the angle, wave that way for all your adoring fans. So Grace Halseth, Allison Terry, thanks for joining us here today. Congratulations.
The return of the smash for that win on first doubles. They did not get the win the next time out against Coon Rapids. That would be on Friday. Blaine did win against Coon Rapids, taking the match 4 out of 3. They split singles. Brooke Freeland, Jillian Salisbury got the wins in singles for the Bengals. Freeland, after losing the first set, bounced back to win 2 straight. And then in doubles, 2 more wins picked up by the Bengals. Evelyn Scheibe and Emma Milley won in straight sets. That's number 2 doubles. And number 3 doubles, Claire Merck and Kirsten Steika won that one 6-3 and then edged out their doubles opponents in the second set 7-6.
Spring Lake Park had a tough matchup here on the 11th versus Osseo. They didn't get to complete the match because of rain. but they completed 4 matches, so they don't have to make this one up.
Plenty of tennis action this week on the girls' side. Maple Grove, the opponent for Blaine. Centennial hosts Anoka. Rogers, the opponent for Spring Lake Park at home. Spring Lake Park and Centennial, a matchup of our teams coming up. Second matchup of the week this week on the girls' side. That's the look at tennis, and you mentioned a good social distancing sport.
Yeah.
A good social distancing sport for other people from me, Blythe, is most everyone that's faster than me running. So cross country would be a pretty good social distancing sport for me. I'm sure you're a little faster than I am. But Blaine and Maple Grove getting after it. Adriana Potts, she was in action on the girls' side. They finished with 4 of the top 10, including Shalom Sulungani, who finished second. She edged out the third place competitor by just a second. The girls would go on to win by 18, 38-20. On the boys' side, a second place finish as well. Rivers Santiago just 4 seconds off the pace of the top finisher for Maple Grove, so a good run for him. But the Blaine boys as a team grouped together 4 of the top 6 finishers against Maple Grove, and they would edge out a win 29-28, so just by a single point, putting that balance of 4 out of the top 6 in there. Blaine girls, as mentioned, get 4 of the top 10 finishers, including the second place finish by Shalom Sulungani. Also got Jordan Lang in the top 6 position, and she was just out of the top 5 by a mere 0.7 of a second. You look at the schedule for the Bengals coming up. They'll be running on the links when it comes up to the boys and girls. 3:50 for the boys against Anoka and Maple Grove. Girls at 5:20. And then Andover and Coon Rapids. Some of those TBD on where they're going to run. So the good thing, get out and do it wherever you might be able to. Champlain Park will start things off in October for the cross-country schedule for Blaine.
But the Centennial Cougars are running as well. We get to see them on the 17th at Coon Rapids High School. And so the boys going at 3:50, the girls at 5:20, but as well as the 24th, they're going to go to Anoka, and the boys will be at 3:30 and the girls at 4:30 if you'd like to check them out. But the Spring Lake Park Panthers, a fun meet to note is they took on Elk River and Rogers, and they won. Both the boys and the girls leaders, the individual leaders, Owen Erickson taking it overall and Caitlin Finnegan. But looking at their schedule, we get to see them at Prairie Park on the 17th, the boys at 3:30, girls at 5:20, and that next one coming up after that is the 24th. And Armstrong and Osseo will be the opponents, the girls at 3:50 at Elm Creek, and the boys 5:20 at Elm Creek as well.
Not just soccer, not just tennis, but also some swimming and diving to go along with the cross-country. Centennial Cougars out to one of their best starts at 3-0 for the first time in 4 years. They won 8 of 12 events last week against Elk River. This was a virtual meet where the teams were swimming in different places. Didn't matter where she was swimming. Lainey Anderley won 4 of her 8 events. The senior finished first in the 100-meter fly and the 200 individual medley, and then also was a part of the 200 medley relay and the 400 freestyle relay that were winners for Centennial. Anderley in the 200 medley with Maddie Fuller, Laura Zabel, and Janessa Sandvold, who also had a good day. Anderley with Sandvold and Fuller, and Calla Camish in the other relay. The other 4 events that were won by the Cougars not involving Anderley. The 100 freestyle, Maddie Fuller won that one by 28/10 of a second. The senior got a big win. The 500 free, Calla Camish, the sophomore, by just 3 seconds, edged out the nearest competitor. 100-meter backstroke, that was Sandvold, who we mentioned there was a big time on the anchor leg in that 200-yard medley relay. And then the dive, held down by an 8th grader, Blythe. Catherine Wolfel, the 8th grader, by 20 more points than any other diver on the night. And she would win that one with a score of 215.20. 3-0 for the Cougars, out to a tremendous start. And perhaps most importantly, as you take a look at their next meets, We got some fun details on the fact that they might actually do that in the same pool. Centennial's at Spring Lake Park. I'll have some details on that one coming up. Blaine is at Welcome Park Center, and Spring Lake Park is mentioned against Centennial. Now, for that Spring Lake Park Centennial matchup, that is their next meet, and we plan to carry that one live here on North Metro TV on our digital channels. Again, we're hoping both teams are going to be live in the same pool. That last one we showed you the highlight, or rather the results for, Elk River was in one place, Centennial was at their pool. You send the results. Jeremy has to mix them all together to figure out who won what, which he did a tremendous job of, and then you figure out who won the meet. In that case, it was Centennial. Hopefully, coming up this Thursday, it will be two teams in the same pool. We know our cameras will be there, and you can watch those live via YouTube and Facebook and on the web once our earlier tennis coverage ends. So that's very fun, Blythe. I mean, they're finding ways, as you talked about off the top of the show, finding ways to keep these kids playing. And now, hopefully, we'll get a chance to see them together in the same pool on our cameras.
Yeah, I'm sure all of the swimmers would love that, to be able to go against that competition and just the energy of what that would be like to still have those people, your opponents, in the same place.
Absolutely.
It just, you go to that next level, you know,
Yeah.
JW.
I mean, clearly, Lainey Anderle could swim in a pool by herself and go fast, because that's what she did. But one other note, when it comes to these types of sports, certainly swimming and diving with the way things are being handled this year, and then certainly on cross country, which sometimes those results are super hard to find, and then tennis as well. Email those to us. If you have some results and you think, hey, I wonder if they want them. Yes, we want the results from these teams, because we want to be able to give them the coverage and distill that down and get it on the show and give the credit where credit is due. So you see the email right there. That is sportsden@northmetrotv.com. Any results that you've got, send them our way, and we would love to figure that out. And Blythe, we've got some fun matchups coming up for upcoming coverage too.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I don't know about you, JW, but we want to be in your living room.
Yes.
So there's definitely a lot of ways that you can watch us and help us be with you here. But some upcoming coverage. The girls tennis, like we talked about, Centennial at Spring Lake Park will be live at 3:55, and swimming and diving as well, 5:55 on the 17th. So a couple places you can watch us, a few different sports.
Right, so that's Spring Lake Park at Centennial Swim and Dive. That's what I was talking about. So it'll be on the channel after tennis finishes up, but the whole thing on our YouTube Plus page to get that one from start to finish if those don't line up. But it's tennis. I mean, that could be done pretty quick. And there's where you can find us. Get us into your living room or into the palm of your hand, right?
True, yeah. There's so many places that you can watch us. With technology nowadays, you can be on a phone and finding us that way as well. So very fun.
Yeah, and don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, get the complete coverage of whatever we're doing, and very key to keep NorthMetroTV.com bookmarked. Go to our schedule page. As things change, right now it's pretty well set, but I wouldn't say everything's set in stone at this point, but set as firmly as we can right now, and hopefully things will be set. And you never know how things are rolling on throughout, how things might change. Maybe get some more sports back. You never know. You can always be hopeful of that type of thing too, and that's you'll find things out.
Yeah, well, a fun week we've had.
Absolutely. Plenty of fun on the week and plenty of fun looking ahead.
Definitely.
All right, well, that'll do it for another edition of Sports Den here on the 18th season of the show. Can't believe it, 18 seasons. Blythe, thanks for having me along.
Thanks for being here, JW.
Absolutely.
Always love when you're here.
Absolutely. We'll be back again next week, and don't forget to go cheer on your teams. Go Bengals.
Go Cougars.
And go Panthers. So long.